We should be unmuted. Welcome everybody. Should be episode 24. We're doing an audio check here. It's a good thing I did because I'm echoing a little bit. So yeah, let me know how the audio is as we move forward. Not only mine, but everybody else's. And Pom, why don't you go ahead and take the floor?
Hey, thanks, Nas. And welcome back, everybody, to Dragon Ball Legends Podcast, episode 24, to the future and probably even further beyond. Today, we are joined by Bebop.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
We have B-Rad.
Sup?
We're joined by Goresh.
Hello, everybody.
You already heard Nastarachi.
Hello.
We have Prof in the house.
Hello, hello.
And our favorite league commentator. Oh, no, not playing favorites, right? Ryuden.
You guys knew I had to be here. It would be almost wrong if I wasn't here.
It wouldn't have been. No, we just would have canceled the podcast. So no worries
That would
about
have
that.
been more appropriate.
Right. So before we start, as always, Twitch Prime is not a crime. Make sure to type !Linktree down in the chat to find us on all our social media presences. Make sure to drop us a follow to always stay up to date. Today's topics, we are obviously talking about the man that gave Ryuden life, Zenkai Super Saiyan 3 Goku. We're going to talk about the new events that came out last Wednesday. And of course, about all the topics that were just released on the Dragon Ball Battle Hour. So with that said, we're just gonna go ahead and start with Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I'm expecting a speech, Ryuden. Go ahead.
Man, here we go.
Okay, no, I won't go too crazy, but finally, a lot of us have waited a long time for this unit to get the respect he deserved. Because even when he came, when he first showed up, he wasn't that great. And obviously, as the metas continued to become more chaotic, he didn't age well at all. His only real saving grace was, he had a cover rescue and double defenses for Saiyans was pretty good. But even then, that started to get taken away as more units got cover rescue nullification and some other units had double defenses too. So finally did he get buffed up, and man, did they go off on this guy. His stats are amazing. His defenses rival/exceed Zenkai 7 defensive units. His offensive stats are really damn good. He had one of the worst green cards in the game, and they made it now chainable. Now it's arguably one of the better ones now. His ultimate is finally to be feared. He's an overall fantastic unit, a true juggernaut, but thankfully he's not too crazy. He's great, but he's not overwhelming like Gohan is. And what's also pretty awesome is the fact that the developers took the extra time to consider the teams that he'd be run on, and they know that Gohan, Son family, is super dangerous, so they made his last passive exclusive to Saiyans, which is really smart. It's nice to see them put that extra level of thought into making sure that he didn't just make one tag so damn dominant. But I think we can all say that he's a fantastic unit. I'm actually really happy about his third passive too, because I hate Hercule. Him being able to be completely immune to that for a while is pretty underrated. And he's also the first Green Saiyan Zenkai buffer. So, I mean, kudos all around. He's a fantastic unit. The only weakness I could see is his first passive is still time gated by 30 timer counts. But I guess that's a really small thing to look over. Overall, he's a fantastic unit. I think we're all pretty happy about him. How does everyone else feel?
I think he's the first character that has, on paper, over 300k on a stat. Like, Gohan can get there with equipments, but he just has it. Like, 300.46k blast attack.
I think Piccolo and Namek Goku do too, don't they?
Yeah, but but non-transforming,
That's right.
right? Yeah, this is the
Oh,
first
okay,
one.
gotcha.
Yeah, and then his defense is pretty much 200k. I mean, you got 194k and 193k, which is absurdly high, and even 280k strike attack. Like, for a non-transforming unit, like, his stats are actually pretty absurd. But that's good because, like you said, that's all he really needed. Like, his kit beforehand, besides the wonkiness of the green card, was already pretty good. It's just he lacked damage numbers to actually have effects in the battle. But now he has those two, and a couple other passives. I like how the first passive, Fate, rests on the battle. Somewhat compensates for the other time-gated passive, because you get 40% damage when the battle starts. but it only lasts, X amount of time. Or wait, no. One of them only lasts a certain amount of time to compensate for the other one kicking in at 30 counts.
It's the
right?
third passive you're thinking of.
Yeah, so he's got like a little bit to compensate for that to keep him well balanced even in the beginning of the fight. And his green card is exceptionally good now. It would have been a little bit better if it worked against tap shots too, but it's understandable because it destroys 2 cards. That I guess it only works against blast cards themselves.
Yeah.
And everything else about him is pretty consistent with the way he was before, just with up-to-date stats that make him competitive.
The thing that's crazy, though, is you got to factor in he has one of the best platinum equipments in the game.
That
and when
too,
you factor that alongside his crazy stats, it actually doesn't take a lot for him to really start pummeling everybody. So I know that he doesn't have an overwhelming amount of, percent damage inflicted buffs, but in reality, if he were to have a ton, then he would be the next Gohan, undoubtedly. He would just do so much damage, and I think everyone would pretty much hate facing the unit. So I think what they did is perfectly fine. It's nice to see that they showed that they're willing to put an extra layer of thought into developing the unit. They started factoring in these things. So I think he's great. I have nothing but good things to say about the unit.
I think one of the things that people don't really notice about this unit that's really powerful is the fact that he's healing 30% with his main ability, and his unique equipment, I believe, has health restoration on there.
Yep.
So he's pretty much getting close to 40% health restoration from that main ability in combination with the amount of defense he has. Like, this guy's really, really tanky.
I think he can use the awakened Android 17 equip that gives blast damage and health buff too, can he?
Not the awakened one.
Just the regular version?
No, the unawakened one, yeah, but it's still good. Yeah, that one has like, what, 12% health or something like that?
Yeah, and then up to
18%
18% blast damage or something like that.
One of the things I actually really like about him too is just like you said, right? Like, he doesn't feel so overwhelming. If anything, he feels really rewarding as well. Like, right, like, his green card, it's chainable, but it doesn't feel like, oh my god, like this is the most busted thing in the world. Like, this guy's super overwhelming. Like, they didn't crank this Zenkai up all the way to like 20,000, right? Like, he's just a balanced unit, and he's fun to use as well, right? So I really like the way that they pretty much done this guy.
Yeah,
what I
that's
find
something
interesting.
else. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. What I find
Okay.
interesting is that the green card, we had at first anniversary, we had the purple Super Saiyan blue Vegeta with the green card, just like his, where it's a blast counter, which changed into like everything. And then I think Goku came out much later, and he didn't chain into anything but the blue card, right?
Yeah. One other thing I'll say about the green card is the fact that they increased the amount of ki that he gets from landing it makes it infinitely better because of the fact that you can chain anything with it. So it's a combo starter that gives you more ki when you land it, which is really good.
Yeah, and not only that, did he always have the ability to get the 10 seconds of color immunity when he uses his main?
He used to be
It was
three.
3, I think.
Okay. Well, that little
Yeah,
extra
it's-
elbow room to work with there is exceptionally helpful as well.
Especially
It's pretty
with his
game
card draw
changing.
speed.
I think, but like adding up on the health restoration, he can comfortably heal like 1.3 mil with his main. Happens all the time. Combined with his tankiness, the ability to heal, he's a beast. Actually, I'm starting to reconsider if he's balanced or not.
He is.
He's definitely balanced when it comes to his weaknesses versus purple units. I mean, outside of that 10 seconds that he has on the main. But against neutral or advantage, he does do a little bit of shit stomping.
He's balanced. If you don't think he's balanced, seek therapy.
I mean, he's not
I'm
like
going-
Android 18 where he just comes out, does 2 or 3 cards, and your enemy's dead. So there's that. Yeah, that speaks much better about his balance levels. Unless it's the main. If you come out and do the ult, then someone's probably going to die, no matter what color they are. But anything outside of that, he's not an Android 18.
Yeah, I like that his ultimate doesn't require any setup. You can just kind of throw it at someone.
You mean unlike Broly?
Like anyone. I just saw Rai kill a half-health merge Zamasu on color disadvantage using it. Like, you could use it almost anywhere. I doubt it would kill like a full health purple unit, but like anything else, it's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, and I mean what you just said with the 10 seconds instead of 3 with the type immunity, and that paired with his card draw speed, that he gets late game, I think that's that lets you deal a lot more damage.
Yeah, it gives you a second to at least do a full combo and then end cap with the LF instead of just having to main and immediately use it like before. So it gives you a little space to work with whatever combo you got going on.
So I can see Rise using him on his Saiyan team, so Super Saiyan 3, or Purple Vegeta, and then the yellow one. Do you think that he fits well in Sun Family, since people were scared that this is the team that's going to become really broken with the good green unit?
If you use it with the Goku-centric Sun Family, then yeah, I would assume he'd be real good there.
No, he still works with Gohan. I know what they were trying to do, where they're like, oh, we're going to make some extra incentives so that he works exclusively with Saiyans, but they're forgetting that yellow Goten and the red Gohan have such good support buffs, so you're not really missing out on anything. Like, Goten gives you ki and damage inflicted anyway, so it's like, are you really missing out on anything if you were to run him with Gohan and Goten? Not really.
No, you're not missing out on anything. Gohan already provides the same buffs you would get anyway from using a Saiyan, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the only thing you're missing is like 10% damage inflicted, but you get it on his blast instead. So you really got to ask yourself, did you?
He's missing 10 ki on switching. Big deal.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
You might need that 10 key to launch your Rising Rush. What are you talking about?
Then you need key to Rising Rush. Yeah, that makes the difference between rank 1 and rank 1001, of course. But so has anybody tried him on Sun Family actually, or?
Yes.
And how did it go?
He's ridiculous.
Yeah, I haven't. I have Z7 Gohan, but I actually use this Goku with Blue Broly, Gogeta Blue, and Red Gogeta, and Namek Goku. That's my main team for him. Actually,
So outside, go ahead.
oh, so that's my only team for him, actually.
So outside of the obvious platinum equip, what other equips are you guys using on him?
I would say you want to go with It's All Up to My Fist as one of his items. It's pretty much a staple for most of the Goku units in the game. And then
Is that the Kid Goku one with the with him punching
Yeah.
through? Okay.
and there's another one called Hurry Vegeta. It depends there's actually a Sun Family variant you can go with if you want, but it's strike defense, blast defense, and blast attack per Sun Saiyan battle member, and it's just 5% per. So
I also
great.
recommend his own equipment, not the platinum one, but the other Super Saiyan 3 one that gives tons of blast damage if you roll it high, and then the Android 17 one that gives the blast damage and health buff. Those are both pretty good too.
Yeah, the 17 one is pretty great as well for his kit.
Yeah, the one you're talking about, the Sun Fin, was the one where Goku's fighting Pikkon, right?
I honestly can't remember off the top of my head. Let me
Yeah,
pull
that's
it
the
up.
one you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, that one's really good too.
It's pretty much the exact same thing, but yeah, for Sun Family.
No, it's the one you're thinking of is called Haya, I think.
Yeah, you're talking about the one where it's just Super Saiyan 3 screaming on the front of it, like powering up?
Yeah, I think it's him versus Janemba. That's what that one is.
Yeah, it's got some big numbers on it, and it doesn't have any of the requirements of him being on a specific team to get them.
I mean, there's also the new one, which is from the new event. It gives up to 31% blast. So it's pretty good.
I think there's an honorable mention too that since this Goku is so heavily stacked on defenses, there's a Wakened start of the battle that is pretty much just a wall of defenses. I personally like the tilt towards attack, but this Goku can take a hit for sure.
Yeah, I think he's a welcome addition to the roster. I mean, and the fact, we haven't gotten into the specifics of the event yet himself, but the fact that they, for the first time ever, just giving, I still don't know if it was 690 Z Power 700, but you at least can get him for free, which, if you're a brand new player, that opens up a path to getting a Zenkai unit that you otherwise would have to literally start from scratch for. So regardless, it's helpful, even if you can't Zenkai him yet. And for people like me, I mean, I haven't even started the event yet because mine's already 8-star, but, just an extra star, get him to red star for me, and that'll be fine. I get red 2, which will give him a nice little stat buff. So, I mean, it's helpful for everyone except for, I guess, you, Goresh, because you already have him 14-star, right? So,
And Ray did.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Apparently,
Raiden were actually the first
that
one, right?
that slips everyone's mind.
Rai was the
I am
first person in the
SSJ3
world.
guy. I'm just happy he was done well. That's the biggest thing for me, because I just do it right. That's my biggest worry. Like, I remember using this guy pre-Zenkai. I couldn't even confidently use his ult thinking he would kill somebody. Even if I had type advantage, I'd be like, is this gonna kill? I don't think it's gonna kill. Even when I was confident, like, yeah, this is gonna kill, it wouldn't kill. I'm like, what is this? This is a spirit bomb. This should be like the bee's knees, but it can't do anything. But now I feel far more confident using him. He's awesome.
I don't think anybody mentioned it, but he has a tradable, or I guess a shallot blue card that has the massive multiplier on it.
Yeah, other than this new upcoming Goku Black, most Legends Limited units cannot teach their specials to Shallot, so that's pretty good that he's able to. I know, like, with him, Zenkai Broly, as a Zenkai unit, not a Legends Limited, obviously, but most of the actual Legends Limited, Zenkai or not, can't teach their special moves, so it's pretty special when they actually can.
See what you did there?
It's special when they teach their special moves.
Yeah, I guess they allowed this one because it's realistically it is just like a standard Kamehameha animation, which Shallot could already knows. So it's not like one of the more unique ones that he doesn't get access to, like Kid Buu level. Well, he can even do the red Kid Buu special, but not the blue one, right?
See, I'm just curious, like, if it's a massive multiplier, right? Is that better than running the red Zenkai Goku with the 100% like damage increase?
Probably not.
I would assume not, right? Yeah.
I mean, I still think the Broly Feint one is better.
Oh yeah,
blue
just because you
Broly?
have pretty much a chance to execute your opponent.
Just to win the game immediately.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I use the Zenkai Red Super Saiyan Goku one just because I think it increases strike attack or strike damage.
Wait,
Kamehameha.
is the red Gogeta's better, or is it the same thing?
Red Gogeta's is good too because it's massive, but it's not as high of a chance to feint as Broly's.
Oh, okay, yeah, so probably the king of the ults.
Broly's probably 30% and Gogeta's like 20, right?
I think so, yeah.
I just like that with the beam cards you can counter with them, but
Right.
yeah, the feint's pretty great.
He just one-shotted a full health UI Goku with the ult, and that's it.
Easy
Good.
peasy.
He's the best. He should. He had
Alright.
the guy gets folded like a wet newspaper. He should die to this.
Wet noodle.
Oh boy, that was entertaining to watch.
All right. So last Wednesday we didn't just get the Zenkai, we actually got content. So first off, Bebop, have you played this Majin Buu event that is in the story tab at all?
Absolutely not. Like,
Dude, you're so
I'll
lucky you
just
got
be
this
honest.
topic to talk about.
I know, right? Lucky me, but from what I hear, it's so fun, right? So yeah, no, honestly, I don't know anything about this event as much because I don't really play the game like that now, but I've heard that this is the only content that dropped, or like that feels like okay, like it's Legends is giving us something kind of relatively new in a sense, but beyond that, I feel like all right, like this is pretty cool for you guys, but maybe I feel like and this is just like a hunch now, but I was gonna ask you guys a question about it, but do you guys feel like because they dropped this EX Boo event, do you think that he'll potentially get a Zenkai soon?
No, I think he's the pair with the new free-to-play Boo they just dropped to kind of give you the core of the blue-purple team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the other hand, we know that they're Zenkaiing all the original series units, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think this guy's going to be anytime soon. But at some point, he definitely will be getting one because they're doing all of them.
Yeah, I stand by Gresh's statement. I mean, eventually, theoretically, every unit in the game will have a Zenkai. If they want to complete the kits of all these units they've created. I could understand them avoiding doing some of them for as long as possible because they're already absurdly good, like Green Goku Black, for example. But, like, you can't max out your arts card levels without Zenkai. So every character's kit is designed to be Zenkai. Like, you can't get your blue card from level 2 to 5 without Zenkai. You can't get your strike arts levels up to 10 or whatever without Zenkai. So, like, Heroes EX sparking, it's the same for every single card. Like they're built with a deficiency that's not completed until they Zenkai. So I would expect all of them eventually.
We also got 2 new equips in this event because the event itself was pretty short, right? It was like 5 stages or something, maybe 6. And the one equip that I kind of like is this regen equip where Majin Buu is just like rubbing his hands or something. So it has up to 8% critical, up to 18% strike attack, and 20% blast attack, and it's for regen. So it's a very offensive one. It's called Aha Ha Ha Ha. And ha 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 lol. No, I think it looks pretty good, just to make your team more offensive, and especially regen with a lot of more tanky units, though lately not as much anymore. It's pretty cool.
I noticed that like they just released an abundance of equips just related to regen, especially because I know they needed that, and just the Majin Buu saga in general. Like I know you guys have like the Vegeta equip as well. Like what is it called? Don't worry about me. And all these Majin Buu equips. Like I feel like that was okay for on their end, but of course, where are we gonna put them, right? We have no equip space, but
Well, they did.
Yeah,
put
I know
some
they
in,
did mention.
I think they put it in like the rush shop or something like that. Like
You
more
get like
spaces.
10 or 20 more slots from the rush medals if you feel like sacrificing your gold medals on free Zenkais for equipment slots.
I think I already did that. Because for me, that's always annoying when I want to stream and play PvP. And then after 10 matches, you have to go and sell equips.
Yeah, I bought 5 of them. There's still more in there. I'm going with the free Zenkai. I'm trying to balance getting the equipment slots at the same time as some free Zenkai levels.
For me, the only free Zenkais that I can still use are the Red Super Saiyan Goku and the Blue Movie Broly. And I'm just going to do dailies until I Zenkai 7 those. So I'm not using the medals for that.
You could also save them up because you can hold up to 99 of them. So as they add more Zenkais to that shop, you'll already be prepared also.
Well, I mean, they limit the amount you get per redemption, so saving the coins really is not going to do too much.
For now, I mean...
They would have to do like a whole batch of units at once.
Yeah, like imagine they rotate the Zenkais and there's like 5 of them, 6 of them in there that you don't actually have complete. And then you have, all right, now I got a bunch of medals.
It's like 15 every reset, right? It's going to be a couple months before you max out anyways.
Well, the main key is the 125 erasers.
I don't even use erasers, so they don't matter to me. Screw the equipment system.
I'm with you, Prof. I like the erasers too.
Thank you,
the new batch of equips. I don't know. I like them quite a bit. I like the new one in the Golden Showdown shop, and there's another one for Goku. Those erasers helped me get them both to Z+.
Dude, the one in the Golden Showdown shop is like the best equip in the game, almost.
I'm trying so hard.
One?
I got really lucky on that one.
Which one is
the
that?
Golden Showdown shop equips
Hurry up and die.
They tend not to be too bad for the rolls.
I got a Z+ on that one.
Fantastic.
Damn.
I cannot for the life of me get a gold or red slot on the second two, and I have made dozens and dozens and dozens of that item at this point.
That's okay. You have like Z+ awakened platinum equips. It balances out.
But this item, okay, so what Gresh is referring to, guys, is the current Golden Showdown item, and it's probably one of the most valuable items I've seen in a long time. It's like, you can correct me, I think it's like 12% or something key restoration.
10.
Like 20%,
10,
10. Like 20% blast and special damage in the center. Yeah, special move in the center.
I think it's 12.5.
Oh, I got special move flipped. Okay. Yeah, it's if for Blue Trunks especially, I'm hunting this item trying to get it because I think it's going to be an upgrade for him. But
the restrictions are perfect too.
It's just ranged. Like every other unit. Yeah.
You can use that probably also really nicely on Red Gohan.
I mean, he has better items, but right, if you're trying to get a budget support, yeah, sure, as a budget option.
You need at least 6 Z pluses, is what you're saying.
I mean, if you run a full range team, that's on you.
It has to be done.
Okay, Ryuden, do it.
But I think farming up like 2-3 of this item, at least S to Z, that's a worthy investment for your account. You're going to use these going forward.
I'm literally trying to find this equip on DVZ space. I can't find it.
It's the one with Cell doing the Kamehameha.
Yeah, it's called Hurry Up
I'll
and
drop
Die.
it in chat.
Oh, okay.
I guess that's pretty much all we can say about the Majin Buu event and the new equips. We have another piece of content that released, and it's the People of Earth Lend Me Your Energy event plus missions. What are your thoughts on those, Goresh?
Yeah, so I'll sort of combine this with the You Are Number One event because it's sort of like a package thing. It's 2 in 1. So this is like the thing where you have to go through the normal like event in this the event listing. And then once you clear all the missions associated with that event, you'll be able to unlock the other event with the key that you get from all the missions. And then that event, the second one, which is actually what I'm doing right now during the podcast, is a 50-stage, typical one of those events where you go through all the stages and you get a bunch of rewards and equips and whatever. So overall, you get a lot of good stuff from this. I think there's a daily stage in the normal event that you can farm Zenkai Souls from, the green Zenkai Souls. You get a bunch of Zenkai Souls as well from doing the 50-stage event, and obviously we talked about some of the new equips that come from this as well. The one thing I will say though, just overarching theme from what we saw from this specific update this past week, is we got these 2 events and we got the Majin Buu event. So we actually did get a lot of events, 3, I guess you could, if you want to separate these 2 events in particular, which is a lot for just a normal week update. So we got this, and we got a way to farm up Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and that's another thing that's connected to these 2 events as well. So I would say that this update is very, very good. Now, in terms of how fun the events are, I'm just not going to comment on that because I don't really particularly like PvE in this game, but you can't argue with the fact that they're actually giving us content to do. So that's good.
I was happy that we could get Zenkai Souls, both green and blue, from the stages. It's not enough to go from all the way to Zenkai 7, but it's like, hey, helps mitigate the damage. And the cool thing is the implications of these events, right? They gave an LF for free. Whether you're happy about which it is and how much they gave, you still gotta acknowledge that it's a free LF. Imagine what this means going down the line. It seems like they don't mind being a little bit generous if they stick to a theme. So who knows if there's another celebration theme with another LF that we could see.
Oh, I would love it if when the other characters get their LFs, if they have like a whole themed event around it, maybe a new LF character to go versus the current one, like maybe an LF Bardock to go versus Zenkai Frieza, just something fun like that. Like, this was really cool, at least how they stage it. I don't care about the PvE like Goresh said, but you can't argue with the fact that they're giving you a bunch of stuff right now.
Yeah, or like when Goten gets a Zenkai, they do an LF Second Coming Broly or something like that.
Oh, exactly. That'd be extremely hype. They can sell a new unit and then rehype the old one.
All right. So it seems like that's pretty much all we can talk about PvE because we all love it so much. And with that said, unfortunately, it was a perfectly bad time for me to have this battle hour ongoing because most of the times is like over here in Europe, I was just sleeping. So I'm actually looking forward to you guys catching me up. I haven't really got much info. We're gonna start with LF Rosé incoming. Brad, what's your take on him, and what do you expect?
Okay, I'm gonna start out with the big question, or what people want, the big debacle. People want him to be red. The reason I don't want him to be red is because there's better options for Zenkais. If they Zenkai that red Goku, like, you're gonna have crit and HP plus Zenkai buffs, which is ridiculous. I don't want a new LF at 2 stars. I'd rather have like a 14-star Goku that I've had forever, who could actually be viable at that point instead of another red Rosé, right? Now, it's not the worst thing ever. The future and Godkey stuff from the same thing, where like they have so many competitive units that are so good that really any color he's going to take somebody's spot. Minus red. That's like the one color. That's why people point to that when it comes to Godkey. But I mean, you look at future. There really any spot. If he's purple, he's taking blue. He's taking Vegeta's spot, which he may not take it on my team, but he's pretty good for that. If he's green, Goku Black's already there. If he's yellow, I mean, you have options for everybody, right? He looks super dope. Can we just go off with the animations? Because not even talking competitively viable, he's going to be an LF. Most people are going to get him at 2 stars. He looks amazing. it's what we wanted with the Scythe. It's just not that much Scythe. It's just in his ult as far as we can tell right now, right? So, what are your guys' thoughts on him? Because that's pretty much mine. I'm excited for him. He looks super dope, but I'm not like over the moon. Yes, he's going to change the game because he's just going to fit on the team.
I'm going to just say this right now.
I love how it's always like Divine Lasso, but in a different camera angle. But they added like extra finesse at the end with the way that he dances around with his scythe. It very Goku Black always has really clean animations. And then in regards to the typing that you suggested, I'm gonna be honest. I hope he's red just to put extra pressure against all the Android 18s that I see. Like even if God Key / Future could see red Zenkai, I wouldn't want that to sort of take away from the potential for him to be red, just because I don't know, I feel like some more stronger reds would be great just to put extra pressure on yellow 18, because she's pretty strong, she's rampant, androids are everywhere. I think it'd be great to have some more red units just to put extra pressure against yellows.
Well, I mean, even if there is a red Zenkai, it would just be I mean, check it. Even if the red Rose or Goku gets a Zenkai, it's just gonna be Zenkai buffing him if he's red. I kind of hope he comes out as a red unit.
I don't think he's gonna be red.
Yeah, I mean that's a valid point. I can give you that one. That's a valid point for sure. Because if we do get like red Godku or something, then he does buff Rose, which they have a tendency of doing.
I'm gonna call it right now. I'm gonna call it right now. He's either gonna be purple or watch him be blue. That's it.
No, please don't be
blue.
Oh,
guys,
He's gonna be
don't
blue.
put the
you know Legends. You know
we
Legends.
left that
though.
out of here for
Legends.
a reason.
Wait, how
literally.
many red Legends Limited units do we have?
Gohan.
One. Yeah.
Legends
let's make him red, please. And plus, the Rose tag will actually be, something.
It's Dragon Blue Legends for a reason.
The Rose
right?
tag.
Well, no. You guys laugh at me saying the Rose tag, but what if they give him like the triple Z ability that we've been seeing? That if you have that tag, you get some extra.
They could, but
it's going to be powerful opponent, God Key, and Future.
I think. Well,
I am fairly confident they are going to specifically design him to be really good on powerful opponent. Like they might even add in some special things to his unique abilities that make him better on powerful opponent. Oof. Take a look at the banners that have come out recently. We have the Kid Buu LF, who's a powerful opponent buffer. We have Demon King Piccolo and Broly, who are both powerful opponent buffers. We had the Yellow Frieza, who got a Zenkai to buff yellow powerful opponent. I think they're pushing this tag massively. And I think the reasoning for that is because they're building up to this Rose.
Yep.
I could even see the Rose being yellow, just because of the fact that yellow Frieza is specifically buffing, and honestly, pretty mysteriously buffing powerful opponent, whereas Metal Cooler does not.
I mean, that would make YYB, because you could bench the current yellow Goku Black, that Frieza, and then you run this Rose with the new
VB.
VB and Gohan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a really nasty team to run into.
I mean, I'd be curious to see how good a potential Godku Zenkai would be, and if he comes out red, you could play red, green with the two Rosés and the Godku potentially. And all of a sudden, Godki has like two reds instead of none. That would be a
like Future and Godkey could use a red. I'm more surprised that most people want to see him be blue. I would assume that Trunks has a pretty tight grip on that slot for Future. No.
Well, even if he is blue, I mean, you buff it, but I don't know. You could run the Trunks with them, but
both blue and powerful opponent have enough going on, so he should definitely be any other color besides blue. And he probably won't be green because of the previous Goku Black, so that sets him up for red, yellow, or purple. I would say purple even would be useful for powerful opponent.
No, we just got DKP.
I didn't summon on him, and this is a Legends Limited, so I still think purple would be useful for powerful opponents.
Also, we have...
Do you think the yellow Broly's good?
The yellow EX Broly?
The one that just came out.
Oh, yellow EX Broly's great, yeah. The new one.
He's talking about the Super
I know what
Saiyan
he's talking about, but you don't use the yellow Broly that just came out in battle over the yellow EX Broly. He's just a bench buffer.
Like how you don't use that new Broly.
The yellow EX Broly is significantly better for in-battle ability. Like the lock, his absurd blue card damage. Like definitely yellow Broly for battle. EX. The other one, great bench. Yes.
I think the real question is this guy going to be better than the purple Goku block that already exists?
I was
I
just about
forgot
to say
of that.
Ah, that's a
forgot about
tough
him.
one. Probably not. I
Then
don't
purple
think so.
Goku Black.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
base one.
Yeah, then the purple one.
base
Who
form.
else?
Terrible base one. Because I was about to say, hey,
Both
don't we have
defenses, bro.
don't
Come
we have
on.
all colors except for purple? And then while someone else was talking, I remembered that this purple Goku Black exists,
Yeah.
but not really.
No, I didn't forget.
Well, that purple Goku Black, and if he gets the Zenkai buff, he's got one of those. If he takes damage, he gets extra, oomph.
Yeah, like people wanted to be tap shot with him.
Yeah, you take all those taps.
Yeah, and he just dies in 2 hits now.
Tap me, daddy.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and I don't know, the support assist Trunks they look neat, but I don't think any of the support assist units have really made a big splash in the game yet in terms of...
No, they're cool, but they're not anything special. Like I
Yeah.
thought they were gonna be.
Wait, when
Watch us all be wrong, and he's just insane support for future.
wait,
Oh, he's gonna be really good. I would almost say that because of the team he's on. Like, that's the only reason.
when the Great Saiyaman 1 and 2 came out, one of the strongest teams in the game was just mono red. I think it's still, well, I mean, frankly, you saw it in the video yesterday if you guys were watching the battle hour.
To be fair, that guy got walked, though.
Yeah, well, he got walked, but I ran that in the top rank for a long time, and there's just nothing anybody could do about it. It's just endless healing.
I have
Like-
more confidence in your ability to use it than his.
Talking about Mai?
What? No,
What were
the
you talking
red Saiyaman 1 and 2, and then the
Oh.
red Trunks, red Gohan.
Yeah, Trunks and Salmon 1 and 2 heal on swap out, and so you can heal like 50% of your HP back, and then all the main abilities, and then it's just nonsense.
Watch them have the same that same unique for future. Watch.
In the developer's defense, though, he was right. Like, he would have stood an actual legitimate chance to win if he was able to land his Rising Rush on anyone but Gotenks. Like, he could have actually won that match, but he didn't use his Rising Rush right.
Well, I just say that I expect this unit to be pretty decent. In fact, when the Broly came out, I mean, his damage was pretty great. It's just Z ability sucks, so he didn't really have any long-term potential. But
Yeah.
this Trunks and Mai, I'm worried that he's gonna be like, future Vegeta family, or hopefully it's future hybrids. I looked at Great Saiyaman and it's movie hybrids for him, so they didn't really care too much about the girls tag on that one. But I don't know. I guess since we're kind of segueing into him, I hope he's purple.
Now that they've started giving these units the girls tag as well, maybe the Mai will have more of an impact on the card's passives and abilities than the previous ones did.
Well, if he's green, there's some wicked good items that he has access to, due to the fact that Mai's on there for green girls. But I really hope he's purple or green. I think Future has enough, and we were even talking about Rose possibly being yellow. I think Future has enough yellow right now, so I'd really hope he's purple or green.
Ideally, he'd be red, but yeah, I get it.
Well, I'm hoping for Rose to be red, so maybe I'm thinking all the way down. If he's red, then I don't know. I got too much red going on in my life, and there I already have red Great Saiyaman 1 and 2, so I crossed out red and blue off mine, thinking that they might keep the assist units unique.
No, just make them both blue.
Just make every
Easy.
card in the game blue, right?
Yep.
If everything's
need
the
for
same,
other
there's
colors.
no system. There's no colors.
Feels like it.
Wait, remember though, Gresh, you said that Rose is going to be dark colored though, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Wait, you can clip that.
Well, don't forget that there's 11 Zenkai blue units in the game and 3 purple.
3 purple Zenkais? Oh,
Yep, and 11 blue.
wow.
Is that balanced? What do you think?
Yes.
No, we need more.
More blues, yeah.
Yep.
So
Agreed.
purple Broly?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you already mentioned it, that you already have some ideas for their color, but what exactly, aside from that, are you expecting from Trunks and Mai Prof, since you're the hybrid main here?
I mean, it's obviously big speculation. They look like they had an ultimate, or maybe that was a blue card, but it looked like an ultimate attack. So I'm expecting it to be kind of like Great Saiyaman 1 and 2, to where it's just a general utility unit. That's kind of how Mai's general green kit is, and I expect from the the Broly that we had before and the Great Saiyaman that they kind of had this interrupting team supporting kit. I expect no less from this unit. Hopefully we get Mai's grenade on green card. That would make me so incredibly happy. But I don't know. It's all just speculation. The thing I'm most happy for is that between Hybrid, Future, and Girls Tag, you have and Veggie Family, you got a ton of items to work with on this character. And I believe in the video they said that he's supposed to work on several teams, so I almost expect him to have 3 tags. Like, as his Z ability is concerned.
I can see that. I also see him being, or like the Trunks and my duel. Like, I think honestly, like you brought up a good point with that healing. Like, I could probably see it. You know, like Mai could be like the healer type, like, well, like in a sense where like if he swaps out, right, like specifically tied to future related units. You know, because that would just be busted. But I could see that. You know, they're more so going to be like a. I could see potentially like more so like a support type for future, but that's just my opinion on that.
Yeah, I expect it to be supporting. That's how the other 2 are.
Anyone else?
What spot could he take? Like on which team?
I mean, he's clearly gonna be a future-based unit, right?
Yeah. You could probably. I mean, obviously, you could probably run him with hybrids, right, Prof? But like all his uniques will probably be tied to future.
Well, they've been making the uniques more broad, so I'm not concerned about that. My thing is, like, when I think of the future team, I'm thinking of Revival Cell, I'm thinking of Green Goku Black, LF Gohan. And Palm says, where does he belong, right? He's got a lot of competition. This unit is going to have to come out and be stunning for myself included to really summon for him. There's just a lot of great units that have been flooding the tags. I think he's going to be future based, and I think he's going to be more support. But you know, if you look at you know, like I brought up the Gohan and then LF Piccolo, they almost have like no requirements on their support abilities.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good point you brought up with the fact that he has so much competition on like his teams. That's only going to get more and more competitive as the game gets older, because we've noticed a trend recently where they haven't really been pumping up power creep as heavily. Pretty much ever since LF Gohan came out, the red one, the Zenkai one. So, you know, as power creep sort of like, I guess, plateaus off, we're going to have a bigger pool of units to compete with for all these teams, because there's not going to be that big jump in power.
I mean, lately, the notable units like UI and Kid Buu, they've been making these really unique and fun kits. And so, if there's a lot of competition, but a lot of really fun ways to play the game, I think that's a great place for the game to be at.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's good that there's more competition, but in order for them to actually make these units, like, desirable or effective on their teams, they don't need to make them just straight up better. They need to make them fulfill a role that no one else does right now. Or make them have a play style that no one else does.
Yep.
I can't really think of a future support unit other than that purple Vegeta.
Yeah, but he's like...
Well, I know, the free card key,
He's all you
everything. I mean, what if he healed 10% on swap out? I mean, if they gave that to a hybrid Saiyan unit, I would lose my mind.
I think everybody would lose their mind.
Just Gohan with infinite healing.
Because hybrids do not need that.
I can't wait to see what his sort of unique thing is, because like Prof said, Kid Buu, UI, Broly, all these guys have like some extra thing to make them pretty unique. I wonder what Rose's is going to be.
I want to see, like, I know I saw something in Fighters and it kind of reminds me of the purple Spirit Bomb Goku, with a character with a wind-up ability. Like, make him to where they're still decent, but I don't know. I think they could revisit that, just throwing that out into the universe. I think if you guys saw it, he can, like, shake his finger at you 7 times and one-shot you.
Oh, the Gogeta, yeah.
Yeah, I would love, like, a purple Spirit Bomb Goku, I believe, used 2 or 3 green cards, and then it's pretty much guaranteed feint on your opponent. Like, stuff like that's pretty fun.
Oh, with the Turles movie one, yeah.
Yeah, the one-hand Spirit Bomb Goku.
Oh god.
So I would love if an LF unit, like, you know, Kid Buu, he's on the field and he gets stacks. Like, what if he got a stack towards his ultimate for a special ability if you kept him on the field for those or whatever?
Because he's Goku Black, they could do the thing where it'd be funny if they made him a defense unit, and then did like the pain makes me stronger thing, where he just gets stronger every time he gets hit by anything, like way stronger.
Oh, permanent buff, but like 5%.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I could see that too. I'm curious to see his like overall strike animations, like his whole animations, because we only saw his special and his ult, right? So like, you know, it would be really cool, and this is like me reaching, but you know, obviously we all want to see is just him using his scythe during his strike animations, right?
Oh
like,
yeah.
Oh, I wish.
like that would be really cool, and then he has like bleed potential, right?
Well,
like that'd be
that's the
pretty
next
cool.
Goku Black.
Well, we don't know if this one has that, right? Because we didn't see that, but you know, that's just me stretching it, because I feel like part of me or a lot of me feels like it won't happen, but that's kind of me being hopeful, right?
Yeah, if I could just be holding
wanna
it,
see
right? If that was the
I
case.
don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think this one will have the scythe, period, except in the animation for the ult, because he does that thing where he pushes the sword into the palm of his hand and then pulls it out.
Yeah.
But I see them doing another because this Goku Black also doesn't feature the actual
Clones.
Goku, the rift in the sky, or the clones that all come out, like basically the level 3 finish from Fighters, right? So they'll still do another Goku Black that has like the scythe at all times, does the rift, and his ultimate will be like all the clones coming out and beating the shit out of the opponent. Like,
Watch his blast card be just him shooting out his clones so they fly at you and they punch you. zoom, 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 zoom.
that would be dope. But because I maintain that obviously Ryuden, I think you were the one that originally pointed this out and made the meme out of it. But there's literally a tag rose in this game, right? So
We
extrapolating
all
off
pointed it
that,
out. We thought it was goofy.
yeah, there's
So
going to be the
limited.
red one, there'll be the green one, there'll be this one, there'll be the Rose and Zamasu assist support unit eventually down the road, and then there'll be at least one more that's got the rift and the clones. So you'll be able to make like an entire team out of nothing but Rose eventually.
Well, the Rose tag functionally in the game, it's probably there if you want to have some items, or specifically like, you know, how we have the Vegito buff on the EX,
Yeah.
not the EX, the free-to-play unit. I'm almost certain that's all that Rose tag is ever going to be for.
Well, until there's 6 Rosés in the game and you can actually run. I mean, I don't think they'll have a Z ability that says, oh, it's 30% to Rose, strike, attack, and defense, but they'll still have their own synergies between powerful opponent, future, God Key, and then they're all on tag Rose together.
A footnote I would love, because people are going to end up searching for units by that someday, that the transforming Goku Black that, you know, eventually has the Rose tag should be in that search option. Just a random footnote.
I mean, I think the whole concept of getting tags when you transform is just dumb.
Oh yeah, I would be all for a patch that just says, hey, you just have all the tags at all times now, because that would open up a lot of item opportunities for a lot of units too. They just had the Super Saiyan 1 and 2 tags. Or Vegeta just starting off with it. It'd be fun.
All right. So we have one more thing, and that's kind of a bundle of topics. So with the DB Battle Hour, it's not just the new units that were announced, but they also announced other stuff like new battle modes and did stuff like knowledge quizzes and so. Nas, what was your upshot or your opinion on that?
I mean, sure, I was there the whole day. Many of y'all might have been there. We streamed the entirety of the 13 hours of the event, you know, starting a couple minutes before and a couple minutes after it ended. Outside of an organized event like Kamehacon, that's obviously out of the question right now due to the state of the world, this is probably the coolest Dragon Ball event that I've ever attended. Like, they had a really good level of planning. Everything was put together. It was very cohesive. Like, I mean, the most annoying thing about the whole thing was how many times we saw the Kakarot flyby video, but they were essentially using that as a tool to synchronize all, like, 6 of the streams they were doing. So, the fact they were able to organize all that, the fact that it was so centered around, like, video games and, you know, the card game, just Dragon Ball gaming, I absolutely loved it. I love the fact that they used it as a platform to announce some new stuff. I think Dokin could have had a bigger presence there, but, you know, they decided to kind of sit it out a little bit, I guess. But honestly, I think it was like one of the coolest things that Dragon Ball has organized and done. I'm going to give Bandai most of the credit here because it seems like they pretty much spearheaded this entire thing, and like Toei, Shueisha, none of them were really involved other than, you know, giving licensing for the event to exist. But yeah, I mean, even the cool little thing like the Xenoverse lobby they had open where people could congregate digitally and watch the content like embedded in that little game world, or they could just spend 12 hours twerking in front of me. Even that was like the coolest thing. Like I don't know. I give them a double thumbs up for this event. Like I would assume most other people feel the same, but definitely one of the coolest, neatest things that they've ever done, in my opinion, and I really hope we get more of this. Assuming that we can all start to meet in person again here soon, it would still be nice if they organized some type of event like this, because not everyone's going to be able to fly to Japan or, you know, California, wherever they decide to host it, right? So hopefully this is something that keeps happening. I was very impressed by this event.
Yeah, I think the implications of this are pretty massive too. I mean, it just shows that they really want to push the gaming side of Dragon Ball, and it's something that's going to be there for a long time.
Yeah, I enjoyed everything about it. I think they could have used it as a platform to maybe tease us with whatever they're working on next, because we all know that Bandai has a legal contractual agreement with Toei and Shueisha that they have to produce one new video game every year to keep exclusivity over the IP. So I think they could have maybe used this to tease some of that, because it's such a video game centric event, but I'm not going to judge them on what wasn't there. I mean, just based off the content that we received, I think they did a phenomenal job. Like, even the little stupid stuff like having the dude build a diorama and having them put together the mosaic, like, that stuff doesn't have any impact on anything. It doesn't really matter, but just having it there as cool little, basically like booths that you would see at a convention where people are doing stuff, it's activity. It was really cool to look at. Like, I enjoyed watching them build the mosaic, theorizing about any significance it might have. I enjoyed watching the dude build the model kits into the diorama, because I myself have bought some of those models. I have them on display in my house, so it's cool to see what someone that's way more skilled than me could do with them. And then, of course, all the gaming stuff was awesome.
Yeah, I like watching Toshi lose to body change Ginyu for like 2 hours.
Yeah, that was great. Forcing the developers to play Budokai 1 over and over again for 12 hours straight. So all of it was entertaining. Like, the only thing that really didn't entertain me was the card game, and that's mostly just because I have no one to play it with, so I never got into it. Like, if they had a digital version of that too, I probably would have been all over that as well. So that
I'd love if they found a way to integrate those unique game modes into the game. I know that they have a website for it, but if they were to just like add it in the game as some sort of extra fun thing on the side, kind of like casual mode, that'd be awesome.
I would love. I think if they found a way to implement a ranked draft mode into Legends PvP, I think I would be just as excited for that as the new game mode. Of course, not including lag, but like, say you queued into a special mode, like, all the characters in the game are unlocked theoretically, right? You don't have to summon necessarily, but if you own the characters and you have stars on them, there's where your advantage could come in. And the game just offset. Here's 3 characters. You pick one. And they do that 6 times. 3 characters, pick one. 3 characters, pick one. And then you assemble your team, and then you go and get as many wins as you possibly can before you lose 3 times. Like, that would be so cool. It would provide way more replay value to sit here and just play PvP all day. And then if you're bored of sitting in the queue for like an hour not getting matches, you could always just hop over to draft mode, and you'd always have something to play. So I think that would be a great idea. Like, draft mode, please.
It's interesting to hear. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Bebop.
I was just gonna quickly say, like, you know, that overall event was just amazing. It just, you know, obviously there were little like blips here and there. Like, it was like, all right, like, this is getting dragged out, but honestly, like, it was worth my time. I think me and Garesh and many others could have just watched that diorama for hours, just straight, right? Because we were just loving it. Like, we loved that, and like the details behind it and all. Like, you know, if the guy didn't, I feel like the guy he could have obviously done more, right? You know, but obviously time was limited. Like, I'm just so curious even now, like, to see what he could have potentially done if he had more time, right? So, you know, but besides that, like Nas said already, like, these kind of events are what makes Dragon Ball, you know, the way that it is now. Like, it's it brings a lot of people together, like from a variety of games, right? Just everyone just pretty much having a good time, having fun, being in one community, right? So I think that was one of the biggest highlights that I really enjoyed, and I wish that we could see more of this. I wish for Legends in particular, they brought in more players as well. Like, hell yeah, I want to see Goresh in there one day, you know? Like, just that knowledge quiz, like you guys saw, like he was just green, baby green Vegeta. Like, he just knew right off the top of his head just like who it was. Like, I just didn't understand how he knew that, but he did, right? So, you know, these are the kind of things that I feel like if they brought in, you know, other content creators would bring in a lot more, you know, like unison in the community.
Yeah, I agree 100% that it brought the community together. Like, at one point we had you, Bebop, me, Indakuba, C-Reacts, Rhyme Style. We were all in Lobby 7 just sitting there BSing with the emotes and just watching stuff. Like, I don't think any event has ever brought the community together other than this. You know, other than, like, Dragon Ball Super Broly coming out, right? Like, for the video game world, there's been nothing like this yet. And it was a great idea.
Well, one thing I was really happy about was Mutin pointing out that these cool little teasers that they do on Twitter and stuff, like the ones with all the pictures with the hidden messages, he emphasized how awesome they were. I'm glad he put that across to them. Like, it was also a good opportunity for us to get to know more about the development, what the producers do, what goes on, you know, on the backstage when it comes to this game. So even the Q&A session was great. Toshi did a good job of, you know, basically sidestepping certain questions, but we still learned something new about how it all works. The whole thing was awesome, honestly. It was awesome, the whole thing.
APV those questions.
Yep. I think the most surprising thing, well, not really surprising, but like something that he really emphasized on as far as like how long the character takes to develop, like 3 to 4 months minimum. Like, they have to do that so in advance, right, to release them on certain days. So I think that's really cool, and I think that was really cool that they shared that with the community, because like people are just like, oh, we want you know, MUI right now, right? Like, but you got to understand how long that takes, right? Like, that takes a lot of planning and a lot of development.
Yeah, but it also illustrates that why they could also pump out characters like Buhan faster, like the new one we just got, because he's literally a copy and paste of everything that's already in the game. You can tell why they did that now, right? Because like you said, it takes like 4 to 6 months for them to animate all the characters that are original, like fresh blast card animations, strike card animations, and developing the kit. I'm assuming they do a little bit of play testing, but I think that's what they sacrifice the most, especially when it comes to like Zenkai 18 and Gohan and stuff, right? But they do a really good job, you know?
Yeah, these are the kind of things that, like, despite what happens, like, we're all gonna complain about the certain crap that happens, understandably so, but these are the kind of things that you have to kind of appreciate the developing team just in every single game that's being produced. Like they really take their time, or some don't, but Legends in particular, I know they take their time with this kind of stuff, right? Like, as far as developing characters and animations, like, they really do go all out.
Yep. The only thing I could hope for this event would, for the next one to be the same thing, but for them to also have a physical space when the world is somewhat back to normal, where people that are able to could go to like a convention style setup. Understandable, that might take a while, but I really hope they repeat this again at the very minimum of at least once a year. But I'd like to see it, you know, twice a year even, would be cool.
I mean, it's cool also to have, as you said, those online events, because we can all be there together, even though we're scattered geographically, because, you know, you said not everybody can fly anywhere, especially if you're somewhere in the middle. Like, they usually probably focus on either the US or Japan. So for me, neither of those would really kind of, you know, be feasible.
Yeah, but as long as they have the online presence as well as what they had here, in addition to a physical presence, I think that this, I don't know, I'm going to call it a con, even though it's not a convention, but I think that it could stand the test of time and have a viability to be done multiple times. Like, I honestly, as much as we were memeing them for selling their merch, I hope they sold a lot. Like, I hope they made a ton of money from this, and it wasn't something they're like, well, we did it, but it was a huge financial loss, but we still did it for the exposure. Like, I hope they actually made some money off this and we're like, wow, this is actually viable. Let's do this more often. Like,
All right. I think that's pretty much all the time for the regular portion of the podcast. We're going to take a quick break and then move over to questions. And as always, if you want your questions in the podcast, make sure to keep your eyes peeled on our Twitter for the thread, or just post them in our public Discord or on Facebook. And we will be right back.
all right, and we're back now. Hope you all enjoyed that. Hope you all enjoyed that. Good little ad there, right? Excellent.
I don't even know.
Hey, it
what to
wasn't
say.
my idea, chat. It wasn't my idea.
No, I already told
No,
them.
but you left. Like, it wasn't supposed to be this long.
Oh, I just
like,
played
you
the whole. I
left
played the whole
intention-
thing. Made him watch the whole thing.
Yeah, thanks.
That's wild.
Okay, so we have time for a few questions, and the first question comes from our public Discord from Belbin. How would you fix the guild shop? I get that if you improve the rewards, people would cheat, but to me it seems the only reasonable exchange option is skip tickets, since everything else is overpriced. What do you think?
Really? I never bought skip tickets one time from there.
What do you buy from there?
Erasers.
Erasers.
I figured. Somebody
Pretty
says
much.
low audio.
No, they're fine. Just ignore them. That was just from right when y'all came back, and I faded it back up.
Okay.
Like if there were, you know, I guess there probably already is, but I don't. Nobody pays attention to the guild system. But engaging guild dailies or something, where you're telling everybody they got to do something, or I don't know. I don't know about y'all, but for me, the guild coins just kind of appear every now and then. And if I need an eraser or I need 30Z power, I know where to click.
What do you mean? They already teased a guild update.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just yesterday, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we already answered this question a couple weeks ago. I mean, we do that a lot, so it's not a problem. But the answer we gave previously would just be for them to condense all of these shops, right? Like, improving the rewards would also help, but just condensing all the shops and making a couple more universal currencies would make a lot of this more easy to manage.
That's one way, definitely.
Yeah, and I also maybe have a link to the guild shop outside of the guild panel.
Yes, please. The screen is so slow when it loads. Yes.
Yeah, just let me access that in more ways than one, or you know, maybe as Anas just alluded to, get rid of the guild currency altogether and just have a universal currency that I use.
But you gotta remember, y'all asking for more equipment slots and you get them, then it's gonna take even longer to load, because loading data takes time and space.
Yeah, that makes you wonder how well designed this game is.
Very.
I mean,
I have a feeling the impact isn't really as big as they said it was, but I mean, maybe when you consider everyone collectively, yeah, to have a little bit of an impact, but I don't think like giving everyone like 100 extra equipment slots would break their programming. I don't know.
I mean, I think it's really depending on, you know, I mean, I don't want to go too deep into it, but if they wrote some spaghetti code because the deadline was tomorrow and they didn't even start the feature yet, and it's just, you know, just cutting corners, shit can get really bad. And then it's even worse to fix it, because the longer you have this stuff in there, you know, the longer
More
it will
stuff gets
take you.
programmed on top of it, being
Exactly.
reliant on the old
And also
code,
you have
yeah.
to maintain that when you change stuff, so it just costs a lot of, you know, money and time.
That's actually why it's kind of a tangent off-topic point here, but that's exactly the reason why you saw Among Us announce Among Us 2, and then they retracted that. Because the original Among Us is literally, like Palm said, to use the same vernacular. It's made with spaghetti code. And they were so concerned that the game getting popular that they wouldn't be able to expand on the game's code to add new features, new maps, new stuff, because of how badly it was pieced together. So that's why they announced the sequel, then retracted that, and like, you know what, never mind, we're just going to go back and rewrite all the code for the original game and make it functional, right? The same thing would apply here and across all games. I mean, if you write bad code, it's going to come back to haunt you later.
Yep.
But yeah, specifically for this guild shop, besides my initial assessment of consolidating shops and currencies, I mean, adding some better rewards that, I mean, that wouldn't hurt, but like he says, people will cheat if
What
you
would it
add
be?
stuff that's too good. Maybe just some energy or something. I don't know. Add some basic resources that we need to keep playing the game, but nothing that's gonna, like, give some summon tickets for older banners. Give some energy. Give some stuff here and there that's not gonna be too crazy, but still more incentive.
So it just dawned on me that the new game mode might be heavily tied to guilds.
Yeah, I don't know. Guilds, friendship levels. There's still a lot we don't know about it yet.
Ooh, friendship levels.
I mean,
I'm
they
excited for the
specifically
friendship levels to
mentioned
be
that.
important.
I know I told them to F off on their tweet where they said that, but they're like, friendship's going to give you an advantage in the new mode. And then they haven't mentioned that again since that initial tweet.
Well, you got through to them, man.
I hope. We can only hope.
That they
I
waited for
want to see
now.
Zenkai Souls in the guild shop if they want to expand on the
Oh, yes, please.
what they offer there.
Because I'm just
Something else too, real quick about the guild shop is they have Z power in there, but it's only for certain tags. I wish they would just do like an all-purpose one.
yeah. Also, it's 30 and it's 5-star or higher, so it's also
Yeah.
very medium useful. But I'm just looking at it now. Some of the things you want is already there. Like you get Masters Pack 30% tickets, but they're way overpriced with 100 coins in my opinion. You have energy, skip tickets, and slot removers on top of Zenny. That's it.
Yeah, I knew there was some of the Masters Pack stuff on there, but maybe like add some Legends All-Stars, the extra higher guaranteed tickets or something. I don't know.
Could be. I guess enough said, so we can move on to the next question. And I've already seen him in chat. This one comes from Absolute0273. It's a bit of an essay, so let's see if we can abbreviate a little bit. So what new gameplay mechanic would you like to see in the future, like UI's Vanish or Cell's Revival? And his suggestions would be something like Gogeta that has the possibility to defuse if it's the last man standing by using the main ability and gives the two fighters half HP of the original character, or a character that can sacrifice himself to resurrect a specific other one in your party. What do you think?
I think this ties back to what I think Prof was saying. I think the newest and simplest gameplay mechanic they could add without drastically changing anything about the game would be like a fourth character that you bring to battle, but they're not actually like a character you used to fight with. They're more like an item, right? Like a one-time use support. Like you could have Dende, for example, right? With his little portrait off to the side. You wait till 2 out of your 3 characters are dead. You use Dende. He brings one of them back randomly, right? Like he heals them or something, right? Just an example. You could have like a little support, like basically in Dokkan, the active abilities, right? But remove that, put it off to the side, make it a character that you bring to battle for like an active effect. That could be pretty cool. And then besides that, there's probably tons of stuff, like gameplay-wise, they could add to the game that would be neat. Like,
I would personally, I feel like the thing that he suggested, I like that sounds a little bit wonky, and I wouldn't even want that myself. Like the give 2 fighters with half health of the original character. That so. I don't know if he means like
it would be
so he's last man standing and then 2 people would be revived and they'd be half health.
Yeah, so basically
like, that's just broken, dude. Like even if they're half health, like you don't want.
Well,
that.
it's like half of the health they have left, right?
So it's more like imagine you have your Gogeta last man standing and you pop the main, and then he defuses into a Vegeta and Goku, and both of them have like half the HP that you had left before.
Yeah, so like when you would use that, like you're down to your last character, you burned your Vanish. And then your enemy activates Rising Rush. There's nothing you can do. Oh,
that's literally a double-edged sword if you think about it. Like, what if the other person is outplaying you, they're last man standing, and then boom, okay, now you're facing 2 units. Like that's dumb. I get it. It kind of sounds. I get what they're trying to say. Like it sounds kind of cool, but I wouldn't even want that.
I would want the opposite. I would want a support assist character like the new Trunks and Mai, for example, but make it Goku and Vegeta, and when you use their main ability the first time, they become Gogeta, right, for like the rest of the fight. I think that would be a cool new mechanic, using the support, because right now they haven't really done much with the support assist characters, right? Like, yeah, they exist, they're really neat, because there's 2 units in one, but they don't really interact with each other in like a meaningful way outside of the way the game already works, right? One of them will show up for the animation of the Rising Rush or a green card or something, but there's no like functional or like plot-related reason as to like them doing anything. So it'd be cool if we had a character that fused like that.
What about a fusing character, but they actually you take two of your, like, okay, let's think of it like this. A new Vegeta comes out from the Buu saga, and he can fuse with any Goku character in the game as long as you have him on your team, and then it takes the Goku that you bring in the fight with that Vegeta and you become one unit. That's just like ridiculously OP.
They could do that as long as you said like one of the units is free or something, just because it's the.
Well, yeah. Well, if they say any Goku, because there's like free EX or Hero Gokus and stuff that you can get. Kakarot Goku's free.
Yeah, it would probably work in that sense because it's just navigating that Kompu Gacha law is the only obstacle there.
Yeah, but let's say that a completion gacha law or whatever sounds like it would be the issue, but
Nah,
I
that would be
prefer
fine.
it to be like let's say like a Zamasu and Goku Black, duo unit, and then the main ability just calls on Goku Black and they fuse together. That's how I would imagine it working.
Yeah, and then they turn into Fusion Zamasu, right? It's the same thing as
Yeah.
Goku Vegeta becoming Vegeta or something like that. That would be a cool
Like,
mechanic.
I understand that like Goresh's idea is more like he'd gain kind of a raid boss kind of character on your team, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you ever had a mechanic like that, I would love it if they gave you the actual PvE mechanic where you got an extra HP bar. Kind of like how Endurance works, where you
come on.
die and it fills up again.
Where it
That'd be
fills
cool.
up again. Yeah, where you have a little like 3 down next to your name and they have to go through 3 of your health bars.
Yeah, anybody that's thinking that this is obscene, by the way, you're losing advantage for the rest of the fight if you choose to do something like this, right?
Yeah.
So that's a huge penalty to gain a very powerful unit. That would be pretty exciting in my opinion.
Not only are you losing advantage, but you're losing a Rising Rush target. You're like crippling your team, like in terms of your ability to swap Vanish for a single more powerful character.
What about a
That's
character
pretty
whose
cool.
ultimate is makes you watch World Flight?
That sounds like a W.
It sounds like VB Zella.
I would also like, speaking of that, but less trolling, I would like some characters that had ranged ultimates. Like something
You
where-
mean
Gotenks.
Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks
the only
and his inevitable Zenkai?
Yeah, that's the only one, right?
Yeah, like nobody else but him has like ranged ultimate where they actually everyone rushes forward and punches to start their ultimate. It would be nice, like say a new Frieza comes out, he's got an ultimate and it initiates long range with a death beam laser from its finger or something, right? That would
Only Gotenks is powerful enough, man, and they understand this.
I like the fact that ultimates feel rewarding. Like you gotta land it. Like something like a long what's his name? Gotenks' ultimate sounds like it's way easier to land because you can
Yeah.
just time it really well.
I think
But I get it.
it pisses me off the most is that ultimates don't beat Rising Rush. An ultimate, like if you outplay someone, get them to the point where they're down to bad like that, the ultimate, and if you're close range enough and you activate at the right timing, then the ultimate will beat the Rising Rush. But from long range and you meet in the middle, Rising Rush will overpower the ultimate. But with the ranged ultimates, Rising Rush isn't quite as powerful. So I don't know.
I mean, it's
I would like, it doesn't have to be everyone, but just some characters peppered here and there, more than just Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks maybe.
yeah,
for the
it's
range
also a
build.
double-edged sword in a sense that if you have a ranged, like if you make your opponent vanish and you use a blast card and they use a strike, they win. Would that mean that if they use a strike card, they would also win against the ranged ultimate?
From close range, yeah, I guess their timing would beat your activation frames. Like, so you'd get, yeah. That's a way to outplay from both angles. It has its strengths and its weaknesses.
All right, fair enough.
I was gonna say real quick because the Absolute Zero actually mentioned like that one last point about another character sacrificing itself to resurrect a specific one. Like he mentioned Elder Kai as an example to bring back like a Goku. I think that's pretty interesting. That would be pretty cool. I could see that
Hey,
like
an item
probably like
character?
an Elder Kai giving like death buffs. Like when he dies, he could just revive specifically Goku.
Bro,
but-
you could even have, like a little Krillin that's not meant for battle, and all he does is come out and throw a Senzu Bean at you.
That's cool.
That would be
I like the idea.
super hard to balance because that now limits your
Yeah, of
design
course.
space for every future Goku. Like you can never have a Goku
Exactly.
with a revive ability. You could never have a Goku that has like a super powerful endurance ability or something like that. It just I think it's a cool concept, but when it
Yeah.
comes down to balancing that in terms of all future characters that come out, it's just too hindering.
Exactly. I feel like if they tied it to a specific Goku with like the Halo, like like a specific Goku that they dropped, like when he was in that when he was in the Supreme Kai planet, right? Like that Goku, like base form, like that's it, just him. Like you know how like they
I mean, the
Yeah,
alternate way to do it would be not to do any ones that like heal you, but just like, oh, this character gives your whole team plus 10% damage for 20 seconds. Or this character comes out and gives you plus 30% to all your defense for 30 counts. And that's the item, right?
Wait, so they can't do that, you said?
Yeah, that if it's tied, if it's an ability that only activates on one specific character that's summonable, then yeah, they can't.
That's a law?
Yes, it's a completion thing.
That's the only law that exists for gacha games.
Ah, okay, that's that. That's what.
There
that
can't
is.
be any premium sets of content that can
okay.
commingle to create a better item or give you a set bonus.
I didn't know that.
And I feel like this game skirts the line with that with the Z abilities. But
Every single game is like skating on thin ice with that ability. Buchigiri was a game that was like one of the first ones to introduce like the two cards fusing, and the way they got around it was they just gave out a free version of like a terrible, like there was a Goten and Trunks that came out in that game. They were the first fusing units in the game. There was one Goten and one Trunks that you summoned for, both summonable, that fused together. The way they got around the restriction is they gave out a terrible free Goten card to everybody. And they were like, all right, here you go. Now you can either use this Goten or summon for like the 90 times better Goten.
Yikes.
But that was what we're already doing, so
I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
It's how much they want to compound onto that to make them look more sus to the Japanese government, right? Because like, you can all blame. Everyone in the audience, everyone in the world, you can all blame DNA for this too. The company that makes Pokemon Masters. They are the sole company that is responsible for the Kampu Gacha laws being created. It was 100%.
Since we're talking about new gameplay mechanics, though, something I haven't seen them put in the game that I would love to see is damage reflection, either as a buff or a cover change.
How would that work?
Like someone cover changes with their strike, and then you punch them in the gut, and they take a ton of damage for catching their strike, and the combo goes to neutral. Or I gain a buff that 20% of the damage that I take is sent back to you.
Yeah, so the idea, circling back to the idea, it could work. It just has to be simpler stuff on the items.
Did you say thorns?
That's what it sounds like, thorns.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no. You see these units with these incredibly long combos. Imagine if you had a debuff like every time an opponent hit you with their strike arts, they lost like 5% of their HP. Like that would add up super fast. That's
like
probably really excessive to say 5.
That's like forcing Heart Virus's Goku's passive onto the enemy.
Yeah, either as a debuff or whatever, to constantly punish them for a consecutive card use.
How would you, what would the effect look like would that be like Frieza putting the paralysis ball around them, and then every time they try and act, they blow themselves up or something? How does that look in game?
No, just like how Heart Virus goes, his HP goes down. After every hit, the HP goes down. Can't go below 1.
Right, I was saying, what is the activation of that ability? Is that on a green card or something, or is that
No, just passive if I could, or maybe it would be like a debuff you could put on your opponent, or a buff you could give yourself.
So that would have to be like... That would have to be like an Android 18 that came out and did the ult that the yellow one has and broke Vegeta's arm, and then that inflicts the debuff of, if you try and use a strike art, so your arm is broken, so you take self-damage or something like that. It'd be cool.
Or you bio Broly every time you punch him,
Yeah, he burns you like
some HP.
Yeah, I mean, that could be unique and cool, yeah.
All right, I think we've covered a couple of questions, and the time is up, unfortunately, so that's it for today's podcast. As always, Twitch Prime is not a crime. Consider following us on all of our social medias. And don't forget to also follow all of our creators. Bebop, Brad, Goresh, Nas, Prof, and Ryuden are all active on Twitter, YouTube, or Twitch. So make sure to drop a follow and you will definitely find something that you like. With that said, this podcast will premiere in about 24 hours from now over on YouTube as well. And we will be back a week from now with episode 25. Have a good rest of your week. Stay safe, and we'll see you all next Sunday.
Peace out.